far as the Americans are concerned, they're always willing to do that because they don't care about Afia. So the question is, what proposal can we have from Pakistan in terms of what they're willing to do in exchange? And I'm just here to talk to people about what their ideas are. It's not me. I'm not the one with the power to make the offer. It has to come from Pakistan. That I can convey the offer, and I can get the offer to the White House, to President Biden. So this is what we need to talk to the members of the government about. But just, can I add one thing to your question? One thing I didn't say. Next time I'm locked up in a prison abroad, I told Fuzia I want her as my sister. I think she is the other hero of this case, along with Afia. And I hope you people in Pakistan respect everything she's doing and help her everywhere she goes. Okay, anyone else? What's next?
Sure.
Yeah.
Are the bunnies any condition, under any condition of non-disclosure or such kind of disclaimer, whatever happened there in Guantanamo-Bay, are they free to tell their stories?
Look, I have told their story over the last bit. Sorry, that's one question. Then you're going to make me remember what the first question is. You can have a second question, don't worry. Look, I have spent the last 15 years doing what we need to do for Afia, which is I have gone into Guantanamo, got them to tell me their story. It's all classified. Everything they tell me is a secret. I have a security clearance, so I can talk to them. Then I have to put it through the CIA in order to get it out, and I've got a lot of it out. I have a 170-page document about the 62 methods of torture that they've gone through, if you ever want to read it. So they are free to talk about the things that we've got out already. Their problem now, I mean, there's nothing the Pakistan government says to them that, they're sensitive. It's not like America. Your government, you may be surprised to hear, has been much more reasonable about this than my government. But their problem now is they are seriously traumatized. If Afia Siddiqi came back tomorrow, she couldn't talk to you, but she is seriously, physically, and mentally traumatized. And so it would just be wrong for us, for any of us, to try to put Rabanis through that again. But on the other hand, I've said to them that I'm always their lawyer, their spokesperson. I'm going to tell their therapist about all the torture they went through, rather than making them talk about it again, because it's just too much for them. But I'll definitely do it. I'm happy to talk to you. I love AFP. You're great people. Don't worry about it. What's your second question? Yeah.
I forgot.
You see, this is what happens if we get it right.
But is there any plan for making any legal suit in America for compensation for this 20-year prison without any?
Do you know what? I'm going to show you what the compensation is, and I'll let you have this picture. If I can just find my phone. The United States will never say the simple words, I'm sorry. They will never pay compensation. And no one has got compensation out of 780 prisoners who have been tortured. That's why I say I'm sorry, because that's the best you're going to get, I'm afraid, is from me. Now, we're going to sue them. I plan very much to sue them on behalf of Peracha, because there was an American civilian who was involved in his kidnapping and rendering from Thailand. And we sue him, and we're going to sue him into the next millennium for what he did. Suing the American government is very difficult. So what we have to do in that case, sometimes you must never allow your future to be in the hands of a government, because if you do, you don't have a future. So what I hope we can do with Ahmed Rubani in particular is he's a fabulous artist. He's a great chef. He was on hunger strike for 7 years in Guantanamo-Bay, force fed up the nose. The only compensation he's getting, which I'll send this to any of you who want it, is that liquid insure stuff, the revolting liquid that they give you up your nose? The American government sent him back to Pakistan with 4 dozen bottles of insure. That's the only compensation he's going to get. And when I saw him just a little while ago, I took a picture of his insure, because I just thought everyone needs to see this. And I have a picture of him with his bottle of Ensure somewhere here, which you're very welcome to have and show to the nation, because it's just so horrible. Yeah. So for Peracha, we'll be able to sue him, because this private citizen who betrayed him and stole all his business, we're going to get that back. But it'll take some years. But we're going to do that because we can get around all their miserable defenses, and we'll get that back. Yeah, next question. I'll find you this picture. You'll love this. Yes. Yeah.
When you said that you have documented 62 ways of torture, could you tell which are ways here?
Here we go. Here is Ahmed Rubani with his 24 bottles of Ensure right there. Sorry, yes. Tell me, you want to hear about the 62 methods?
No, not all, but two.
Okay. Well, one time Ahmed Rubani for his artwork, he did a picture of several of his torture methods, which I got to see in Guantanamo-Bay when I was visiting him. The one that was most dramatic was where he was hung up by his wrists on his tiptoes like this, and the picture was from behind his head up to the sky, and there was a square block there with neon lights, right? And he was just hanging by his shoulders. Now that's called stripado. Stripado was an ancient form of torture that was mainly used by the Spanish Inquisition in about 1540. And it's excruciatingly painful. You gradually dislocate your shoulders. Sorry about that, we shouldn't be talking in front of children about this. But it's incredibly painful. And he was left in there for a week, hanging by his shoulders. The other ones, it just goes on and on and on, from the very early days of beating to the one that all of my clients, including Ahmed Rubani, says was the very worst, which was using music to torture people, just like that, telephone ringing a minute ago. We played incredibly loud music at people 24 hours a day, at full volume in a dark prison for weeks on end. And one of the projects I've got actually right now is, anyone here know Eminem? You know the music of Eminem? Yes. Well, they played White America at these guys for 20 days straight. That's 5,337 times they played White America at incredibly loud volume. Now, who the idiot was who chose White America, I don't know, because it's an intensely anti-American song. It's about American racism. The people who make those choices are just, forgive me for saying, just total idiots. But we've been in contact with Eminem because he has the right to get paid compensation for every time his song was played by the US military or the CIA. And we'll sue them over that, not because I care about money, but because that's the worst form of torture that any of the prisoners got. Because unlike physical torture, where you feel the pain and you know it's going to be over, the psychological torture, you feel your sanity slipping away. And all of the people I've had who've had that done to them have told me that was the very worst than waterboarding, that was. And that was done to Ahmed Rubani too, and his brother Abdul. So, this is why I'm here to apologize. The fact that we're talking about this in the 21st century is despicable. And my government in the United States needs to learn about what human rights are all about and stop doing this nonsense.
Was he waterboarded as well?
He had a form of that, yeah. And we've I've had them all done to me just because I think we should figure out so we can describe precisely. I was waterboarded. I was waterboarded in school, actually a private school in England where my parents paid for it. And so I can tell you exactly what that's like, and it is an unbelievably unpleasant experience. And I still suffer from that to this day. And when I was talking, I'm 63, right? So that happened 50 years ago to me. And when I was talking to Ahmed and other prisoners in Guantanamo, it all came back when they started telling me about what they went through. So, yeah, I know what that's like, and it's awful that we're doing that. Just don't send your children to an English private school, all right? You just don't want to do that. Yeah.
In your piece in Dawn last month, you wrote about how President Biden may be open to an exchange where she cannot be. Is that a tangible consideration?
Well, look, I don't want to tell the Pakistan government what their business is, right? It seems to me there are perfectly reasonable solutions that we can propose and we can sort this out. But if there's anyone in the Pakistan government who doesn't like a proposal that we make, come up with another one. So I'm open, I'm easy. So please don't, for 1 minute, think that I'm telling the Pakistan government precisely what they need to do. No, not at all. We just need to do something. And
have you discussed it with anyone in the Pakistan government, that proposal?
Not with the people I think I need to discuss it with. I've talked, most people are on our side, right? Most people would love to do that. So we just need to know the people who have a problem and then get them to offer an alternative solution, and that's what we'll do. So what we can't do is sit back and do nothing. So if someone doesn't like it, you know, I'm willing to admit I'm wrong several times a day, you know, I'm fine with that. But if I'm wrong about something, we need someone to tell us what we can do that's right. Anything else?
Thank you. Keep it.
یہاں پہ چونکہ ایک سوال ہوا تھا تو اس کے کلیریفیکیشن میں بتانا چاہتا ہوں. فیملی کسی کمپنسیشن میں انٹرسٹڈ نہیں ہے, نہ ہی سو کرنا چاہتی ہے. فیملی کا صرف ایک ہی آبجیکٹیو ہے کہ عافیہ صدیقی واپس آ جائے, کیونکہ جتنا ظلم اس نے سہا ہے اتنا میں نے کبھی کتابوں میں یا کہیں پہ کسی مثال میں نہ پڑھا ہے نہ سنا ہے جتنا ظلم اس کے اوپر ہوا ہے. ربانی کے بیٹے نے کیا فیل کیا جب اس نے اپنے باپ کو دیکھا اچانک, یا ربانی صاحب نے خود کیا فیل کیا اور جب انہوں نے اپنے بیٹے کو اتنا بڑا دیکھا اور چھوٹے سے بڑا ہوتے ہوئے نہیں دیکھا. آپ سمجھ سکتے ہیں کہ عافیہ صدیقی کی بحیثیت ماں کیا فیلنگس ہوئی ہیں, اور پھر اسے جس طرح سے ٹارچر کیا گیا ہے. اس کا ایک بیٹا اور بیٹی ابھی جوان ہو گئے ماشاء اللہ, عافیہ صدیقی اس سے لگے ہوئے آلموسٹ 20 ایئرز ہو گئے, اور ایک بچہ لاپتہ ہو گیا اس دوران, اس کا کچھ پتہ نہیں, اور وہ صرف 9 مہینے کا ہوتا جب وہ لاپتہ ہوا. عافیہ صدیقی کی ماں اس کی رات تکتے تک انتقال کر گئی. ان کی حالت دیکھ کر, ان کے صبر دیکھ کر ہمیں رونا آتا تھا. تو ابھی ہمارا مقصد صرف یہ ہے کہ ڈاکٹر عافیہ صدیقی واپس آ جائے. جب اتنے سارے لوگ واپس آ گئے گوانتاناموبے سے, امریکہ سے, عافیہ صدیقی کے اوپر تو کوئی ایسا جو کوئی کیس چلا بھی نہیں ہے جس کا اسپاٹ سے تعلق ہو, اس کو تو بالکل ریلیز ہونا چاہیے. اور ہم اپریشیٹ کر رہے ہیں, کلائیو اس کے لیے بہت محنت کر رہے ہیں, اور ہم نے امید بندی ہے کہ انشاءاللہ اس دفعہ کامیابی ہوگی. میرا نام اقبال ہاشمی ہے, میں وائس پریزیڈنٹ ہوں عافیہ صدیقی. تو یہ کلیریفیکیشن اس لیے کرنا ضروری تھا کہ کوئی یہ نہ سمجھے کہ کوئی کمپنسیشن یا سو کرنا یا ایون کوئی پولیٹیکلی یوز کرنا, ایسا بھی کوئی کسی کا مقصد نہیں ہے. وی جسٹ وانٹ ہر بیک. دا فیملی ہیز سفرڈ انف, اور ڈاکٹر عافیہ نے بہت زیادہ سفر کیا ہے, بیان کرتے ہوئے تکلیف ہوتی ہے. اور میں اگر آپ لوگ انٹرنیٹ پہ جا کے دیکھیں تو اس کے اوپر ایسے جھوٹے الزامات لگائے گئے ہیں, ڈائمنڈ لیڈی اور کیا کیا, اس کی کوئی حقیقت ہی نہیں ہے. تو یہ پلیز آپ لوگ دھیان میں رکھیے گا, ہمارا صرف ایک آبجیکٹیو ہے کہ ڈاکٹر عافیہ صدیقی خیر سے واپس آ جائے. کلائیو نے جو نہیں بتایا, ریسنٹلی اس کو منہ پر بوٹ مار کر کے اسے دانت توڑ دیے گئے. تو اور پھر اس سے پہلے اس کے اوپر میرا کافی کا پورا مت پھینک دیا تھا جس سے اس کا چہرہ جھلس گیا تھا. تو ٹارچر تو اور جو سسٹمیٹک اور میتھوڈیکل ٹارچرز ہیں وہ تو بیان سے باہر ہے, اور یہ چیزیں تو نارملی سدھار رکھی جا رہی ہیں. اینڈ فار 20 ایئرس شی از ان سولیٹری کنفائنمنٹ, وہ بھی ایک بہت ہی برے جیل میں. تو اس لیے جو اس کی جو مشکلات ہیں, جو جس فیز سے وہ گزر رہی ہے, اس کو پلیز آپ لوگ اس کا درد محسوس کیجیے. اسی جگہ اپنے آپ کو رکھ کر دیکھیے, اس کے بچوں کو اپنے بچوں کی جگہ میں رکھ کر دیکھیے. اللہ تعالیٰ نے آپ کو محفوظ رکھا ہوا ہے, بٹ دیٹ فیملی ہیز سفرڈ. تو پلیز اس کے لیے آپ سب لوگ مل کر ایفرٹس کیجیے. میری آپ لوگوں سے درخواست ہے اور بہت ہی مؤدبانہ دلی گزارش ہے کہ آپ اس کو پلیز اپنا کام سمجھ کے کیجیے. اس کی جوابدہی بھی ہے آپ سب.
جی میں آپ سب کا بہت بہت شکریہ ادا کرتی ہوں. اینڈ جسٹ ٹو ٹیک دیٹ فارورڈ میں آپ کو یہ بتانا چاہتی ہوں کہ میری والدہ نے انتقال سے ایک ہفتہ پہلے ہی مجھ سے یہ کہا کہ فوزیہ سب کو معاف کر, اور میں نے سب کو معاف کیا. تم جاؤ دبئی اور ان کو بھی کہو کہ جن کی وجہ سے آپ یہ اس میں ہے, اور جا کے ان سے کہو کہ میں نے انہیں معاف کیا تاکہ انہیں آسانی ہو جائے. اس وقت تو میرے سے وہ نہیں ہوا, لیکن امی کے انتقال کے بعد ظاہر ہے میں نے ریئلائز کیا اور میں نے کیا. اور شاید جس دن میں نے کیا ہے نا کہ اپنے دل سے صاف کر کے اور وہ کیا ہے, اسی کے دوسرے دن ان کی جان نکلی. اور ہمارا کہنے کا مقصد یہ ہے کہ اٹس ناٹ اباؤٹ ریونج, اٹس ناٹ اباؤٹ اینی تھنگ لائک دیٹ, اٹس اباؤٹ برنگنگ عافیہ ہوم. دیکھیں عافیہ, ہماری عافیہ ایک ماں سے اس کے بچے چھین لیں, اس سے بڑا ٹارچر نہیں ہو سکتا. یہ کہہ رہے کہ she's lost her teeth because of something, she's burned her face, all that. اگر ماں کی گود میں اس کا بچہ ہے نا, وہ سب کچھ برداشت کر لے گی, لیکن ماں سے اس کا بچے اگر چھین لیں تو اس سے بڑا دنیا میں کوئی ٹارچر نہیں ہے. کسی سے بھی کسی ماں کے سینے سے دیکھ لے, جو باپ ہے وہ بھی سوچ لے کہ جب بچے پہ آتی ہے نا تو سب کچھ ایک طرف ہو جاتا ہے. تو اس سے بڑا ٹارچر نہیں ہو سکتا کہ آپ بات تک نہیں کرا رہے. 4 سال 5 بلکہ 2016 کے بعد اب تو کتنے 7 سال ہو گئے, ہم نے اس کی آواز نہیں سنی. اس کے بچوں نے, اس کا ننھا سا شیر بہت 6 مہینے کا تھا, سلیمان کہاں ہے. یہ ساری چیزیں ہیں. اور جیسے کلائیو نے کہا کہ you are the power, you have the strength. آپ اپنی اسٹرینتھ کو انڈرمائن نہیں کریں, آپ یہ نہیں سمجھیں. آپ اس سوال کو کر سکتے ہیں, جیسے میں نے کہا کہ کوئی بھی سوال آپ کے وقت کے لیے بہت اہم ہے, اس سے زیادہ اہم عافیہ کا ہے.
Doctor, would you like to explain any efforts made by the government of Pakistan to relieve Afia?
So, if the government of Pakistan would have made any efforts, we would not be sitting here talking about this. Rather, Afia would be here telling you about all the plans he had with her education system and all of that. You know this, you have all been following the Islamabad High Court, and if you remember from the last hearing, what happened was that the government just stood there and said that we haven't done anything. I mean, after taking dates, and the judge said, what is it? Am I whipping a dead horse? That's what the words of the judge. کہ I'm whipping a dead horse, کہ یہ کیا آپ لوگ ایک مردہ ہو ہے کہ آپ نے کوشش ہی نہیں کی. اس نے کہا have you given up? لگتا ہے کہ آپ نے سب نے give up کر دیا, صرف یہی کریں گے. یہ جج کے الفاظ سے انکو, اور وہ خاموش yes my lord کرتے ہیں. تو اب اس کے آگے میں کیا کہوں کہ what effort they have made, but inshallah I am really very 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 hopeful کہ ہم کوشش کرتے رہیں گے. ایک وقت آئے گا انشاءاللہ تعالیٰ ہوگا. انشاءاللہ now Clive is here and he is going to keep pushing and we'll follow his lead, and together inshallah we can.
There are very particular things the government can do for us right here, right now, including helping us get the people in we need to get in to see Afia. And we'll be asking them to do that, and I'm absolutely sure they'll do it. But they'll do it a bit quicker if you lot give them a little push.
Thank you all very very much. Thank you for coming and staying the time.